Oh, how the mighty have potentially fallen. Tell's video may come off as like someone died, but that's not the case here. Rather, we lost another good YouTuber, lost to stupidity, is what it comes down to. Someone who has been exposed for having pretty bad opinion that not a lot of people, I'd say the majority of people, don't agree with. And rightfully so. It's just a bad take. So recently, Moist Critical, aka Charlie, aka Penguin Zero, whatever you want to call him, he debated Sneako, or Sneako debated. I don't know who initiated the debate, but there was a debate between the two of them, and it was about, I don't even want to talk about this. It's about age of consent. Why this was even a debate, I don't know. Sneako is just, it's Sneako, so nothing really surprises me. Dude is the Walmart brand wannabe Andrew Tate. He's like, he wants to be Andrew Tate so bad, but like in the worst way possible. Anyways, Sneako was saying, age of consent shouldn't exist or whatever, and then Charlie's like, no, age of consent should definitely exist. Should, yada yada. It was a whole thing. There's videos that go more in depth, or I think some people got the full stream. I don't know. Regardless, it was a weird debate. Sneako eventually brought up the point of what about, what do you think about children transitioning? Getting gender reassignment surgery, chopping their privates off, yada yada yada. I'm not sure where that came from, but he brought it up, and Charlie kind of gave a very disappointing answer.
Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, as you agree with.
Okay, so as long as everyone...
If your parents are okay with it and you are okay with it, I think that's totally a familial decision to make, yeah.
Okay.
So he said that was okay. If everyone consents, if the parents and the kids and everyone consents, then it's fine. And that's not really a hill to die on. It's such a bad opinion to have, especially in today's climate where it's kind of up for debate. Most people would argue, hey, don't freaking do that. That's scummy and bad and wrong. You shouldn't do that. And then you got some freaks that think it's okay. This is awfully disappointing because Charlie's kind of the voice of reason for YouTube. You could always kind of go to him for a decent to good take on controversy or just any subject matter. But here he's wrong. Plain and simple, he's wrong. It's not okay to mutilate children. It's not okay to do this sort of thing to kids. And the entire argument of all this is, can children consent? And the general consensus is no, children cannot consent. Now, I want to make something very clear here. Probably should have made it clear before. Sneako was also wrong. All right, let's get that out of the way. Sneako's freaking retarded. He's an idiot. He's never been right. I feel like that kind of went without saying, but I feel like I've got to clarify before people come at me like, oh, you're a Sneako. I'm not a Sneako fan. He's an idiot. He has the worst takes. He is also wrong here. But Charlie is also wrong. Both parties are wrong, but their points are generally the same, if that makes sense. So like they're both right in the sense that children can consent, but also wrong in what they're arguing for. They're both wrong in this matter. That's the gist of it. But it's more so this disappointment is like it's kind of where you expect more from. I and many others expected more from Charlie. He should be the level-headed one here. Sneako's an idiot. Everyone knows that. Dude does not have a logical bone in his body. So for him it's sort of like, well, nothing surprises me. I'm like by default you're disappointed and you know that Sneako's wrong. It's disappointing from Charlie's end because he usually has a more level-headed opinion. He has more level-headed takes. If the entire point is children cannot consent, then it goes both ways. Because they're essentially arguing the same point for different things. Like Sneako's argument is, well, if all parties consent to children getting married, then it should be okay. Charlie says, no, it's not okay regardless. But then Charlie's saying, if all parties consent to these surgeries, then it should be okay. But then they both still argue children can't consent. That point is right. Kids cannot consent. But if you're going to argue that, be consistent with it. No, kids cannot consent to sexual activities or marriage at a young age before they're adults. Also, children cannot consent to these gender reassignment, gender trans surgery type things. That's it's all wrong. I feel awful for kids on YouTube nowadays, kids who watch YouTube, because with all the drama coming out about all these different creators being child predators, and now this sort of thing where two YouTubers are arguing about kids getting married and kids having their genitals removed. I mean, it's got to be tough for a kid to watch all this, just trying to be a kid, just trying to enjoy things. Growing up, I had the Annoying Orange, I had Tobuscus. We didn't worry about any of this stuff. We just had dumb, funny stuff that we enjoyed. We didn't have to have all this stuff forced on us. Let kids be kids. Kids are very indecisive. Kids aren't like mature enough to really think about this stuff. Whenever it comes to this sort of thing, this is not a child making this choice. This is not a child going, oh, by the way, I'm this right now. I'm this. I feel like this. No kid even thinks about that. No kid just conjures that up in their mind. It's either being they're either kind of being coerced by their parents, or they're seeing this stuff on TV, on the internet, and so you get this idea in their head that, hey, maybe I'm actually this. That's wrong. And that's kind of goes along the same lines as grooming. Why does grooming exist? Like, how do people do it? Because kids are vulnerable. Kids need to be protected, not groomed. It's disgusting what's happening nowadays. It's disgusting what's been happening lately, and I mean, all I can say is just leave the kids alone. Let kids be kids. When they become adults, they can deal with the stuff as adults. When they have the right mental maturity and capability of understanding this stuff, then let them do that. But right now, until they get to that point, let them be kids. There are a few videos that go more in-depth into the subject of this debate and this controversy. I'll link them down below. They go more in depth than I will, but yeah, it's all there if you really want to watch a more in-depth take on all this and people explaining kind of what's been going down. Hey, it's post-production Captain Random in the editing booth here. Charlie has come out with a response to all the drama and stuff, and it's a whole lot of nothing, honestly. He's just trying to do damage control. And it doesn't really help him. It doesn't make his argument any better, because he's like, well, I didn't think you meant this, but very clearly it is brought up. Yeah, it really doesn't change anything. He's just trying to backpedal and all that stuff, and more so just get on to Sneako about all that stuff, all of what Sneako was saying, which is totally fine. But at the same time, again, he still kind of regurgitates the point he was making before, and yeah, it's just a big nothing burger.